Hey, in this video, I'm going to go over some questions that our followers or paid students in our Locator Academy have asked me through DMs or comments, even over email. I had my team kind of compile some questions. So let's get started on this. Number one, if you had to start from scratch tomorrow, what would be your first move? So here's what I'd do if I had to start, I suppose, from scratch tomorrow with $0. I would start a free trial on ideally an all-in-one CRM, and then I would get started at a local brokerage firm that specialized in apartment locating. The reason why is because when you first sign up to an apartment locating brokerage firm, first off, they all want to hire you, and chances are they're going to give you free leads. But the point is, on day one, if you have a CRM set up, you can start entering those contacts in your CRM, and that's what really sets you up your first year, because as long as they're stored in your CRM, you can do a lot of stuff really, really fast. Like at the end of your first month, you might have 100 new contacts or leads in your CRM, and hey, you might close 10 of them or 20 of them, which would look like a 10 to 20% close rate. But 100 contacts in there your first month is pretty powerful, because you can blast text all of them, blast email all of them, send all of them a voicemail and say, hey, I don't know if you're in the market for an apartment anymore, but maybe you have a friend or a colleague or you know someone that might. And if you do, then you can go ahead and talk about your referral incentives. And that's a really powerful thing to do your first month as a real estate agent. So definitely the first thing I would do is get a CRM. A lot of them have trials, but even if they don't, that's a really small investment that you can do to get started like on a good pace. Number two, what's something you wish someone told you before getting into this game? You know, the reason we started NAL was because there isn't really a lot of guidance in the apartment locator sector in real estate to begin with. So I really didn't have anyone. But I suppose if someone would have told me early on, like, hey, this is a higher paced business compared to being a realtor. Therefore, the clients you choose to focus your energy on, if they're not qualified, they're going to take time away from the energy you could have focused on passing on the unqualified ones and focusing that energy on a qualified client. That would have been really great advice, because sometimes when you're first starting off as a real estate agent and say you're doing apartment locating, you want to just make the most out of every opportunity. You're like, oh, this person needs an apartment, even though they have an eviction, I'm still going to help them. And that's not really the best way to work. It took me a long time to figure this out. And it would have been really cool if someone told me, hey, skip that client, pass up on them, they have bad credit, and just wait for your broker to give you a lead or for another lead to be generated through your own efforts that is more qualified. Because problematic clients, like if they have credit issues, even if you do the best work for them and they apply to an apartment and they write your name down, because that's all it really takes for us to get paid, they might get denied because of their bad credit. Or the apartment might come back and say, hey, you got to pay double deposit and then we'll approve you. And a lot of renters just can't do that. You know, think about it. Rent is like, I don't know, $2,000 a month for like a fancy 1-bedroom or a decent 2-bedroom. If an apartment comes back because your client has bad credit and they're asking for $4,000 as an upfront deposit along with their first month's rent, some renters just really can't do that, because if they did, that's a lot of liquid. So maybe they might be interested in like buying a house if they had that much cash, you know, readily available. So don't work with problematic clients. I know when you first start off, you're like, I want to work with everyone and make money. It's actually better to take a step back and say, they're unqualified, maybe refer them to someone else and just wait for a more qualified lead to work instead. For me, it was uncomfortable because I would get a lead and then it was like, okay, they have an eviction. Maybe I can make all these calls and try to get them approved, because I didn't want to sit around doing nothing. But the reality is that there's so much more you can do instead of just sitting around. You can focus on your CRM automations, making them better. I mean, heck, nowadays we just pre-built all that stuff for you in Locator IQ, but you can work on that. You can take a course and just learn and be more confident while you're sitting around before actually working with someone. There's a lot you can do. You can post ads, you can train your VA on your marketing strategy the way we walk our students through. There's so much you can do when you're not actively working with a client. So don't just work someone that's unqualified just because you don't want to sit around and you feel like you need to make the most out of every opportunity. Pass on the ones that are unqualified. It'll make you more money. All right, next question. What's the biggest mistake you made early on? Not working with a CRM, of course, right? When I first started doing apartment locating or real estate in general, my first 3 years, right around there, I didn't even work with the CRM because I didn't know what it was, not really. And I didn't know what digital marketing was because I was just naturally good at closing, you know, apartment renter leads. But once I started realizing what a CRM was, what digital marketing is, I really shot myself in the foot, because I'm like, man, I would have had 3 years worth of contacts in my CRM, which I could get referrals from. I could nurture the relationship automatically with my CRM. I could have maybe helped a lot of those people buy their first home because I've worked with them over 3 years. And I just missed out on all that effort that would have been done for me automatically if I would have started working with a CRM and took a week to just set up the CRM properly, right? So that's the biggest mistake I made, is like finding out about digital marketing systems, CRM, sales funnels, much more early on in my career. But hey, it's like what they say, the best time to start was yesterday, but the second best time to start is today. Right? So let me continue on. Number 4, what's one thing you do now that your old self would have never understood? Probably make content. I value content a lot now, even for lead generation as a real estate agent, primarily as well. I make content now to help agents get them to 6 figures, but I also make content for lead gen as a real estate agent. Some of the best leads that I get come from like my YouTube and social media strategy when I'm doing, all kinds of content, different content that we teach to generate renter leads, right? We do obviously the property tours in a special way, but then we look at the camera, speak to our audience on what we do as locators. We post like Zoom call highlights for more content so that other renters have a chance to think about what it would be like to work with us. And posting that content really helps you generate leads, more than just paid ads, more than like Craigslist Marketplace, better than those platforms, because they're getting to know you as they're becoming a real estate client of yours. So I would say like that's the one thing that my old self would never have understood, like the power of content and doing videos and posting them online. I didn't really understand that until I started learning from coaches. I've invested several 5 figures in coaches to get my knowledge first. And then I've taken that knowledge and I've helped my little niche industry of apartment locating learn the same things that people taught me. But the thing is, what I learned a lot from my coaches and my mentors was the power of content, right? And digital marketing. So that's something that I didn't understand. My older self didn't. Okay, number 5, what's one weird trick or tip that actually works? All right, this kind of sounds dumb, but it actually works. So when you're a real estate agent, we teach agents, especially locators, to never go on tour. Like, don't go on tour with your client and drive around the golf cart and, go in the property with them. Like, that's a waste of time. If they like it, they're going to apply. You don't need to be there with them wasting time when you could be taking other calls, working on your marketing, training your virtual assistant. There's so much more stuff you could do. But one thing is, sometimes certain buildings, this is going away now in apartment locating, but sometimes buildings will require you to escort and show up with your client, at least to the office. Like, you don't have to do the tour on the golf cart with them if you don't want to, but a lot of buildings are like, hey, you got to step foot in the apartment, so we'll pay you this abnormally higher commission, right? A good example is like, hey, we'll pay you 1 month rent if you just send them, but if you actually show up with your client before they lease an apartment, and at least to the office, then we'll pay you a month and a half, right? Instead of just 1 month. So that could turn into like from $2,000 to $3,000. And in those cases, if I just want to go and show up with my client to earn more, one trick that's kind of weird is like, when you're on tour, take your phone out, hold it sideways, and just start recording a walkthrough while you're forced to be there. And this is helpful because at least you have an excuse to make content that you can give to your editor, put background music on there, and then now you have like a property tour and you're knocking out like 2 birds with 1 stone. So ultimately what I'm trying to say is, if the few times you do escort with your clients, take your phone out and just film. And here's the tip. Don't ask the leasing agent or whoever is doing the tour with you and your client, don't ask them if you can film, just do it anyway. And here's the thing, most of the tours and the images are already on their online public website. So it's not like anyone should really tell you no. But if you ask them, you kind of like make them think about it. And then sometimes they say, no, you can't do that. Well, I got to get permission. And then it's just a waste of time. So never ask, just take your phone out and like do the tour, the quick video anyways. That would be my tip. That's kind of odd. All right, number 6, if someone only had 1 hour a day to work on their business, what should they do? Don't do the business, do a different business. You can't do anything with 1 hour a day. So if you only have 1 hour a day to work on your business, then you have to do another business that you can put more than an hour a day into. What kind of question is this? Oh, come on. Nothing that you will do 1 hour a day other than like maybe working out is going to bring you real success. Okay. And actually, even if you work out, you're actually working out for more than an hour a day, because most of working out is like meal prep and like making sure you're making the right decisions on what you eat, and then you're working out for an hour. So it's actually, if you could only dedicate 1 hour a day into your business, you might as well just use that 1 hour hour to do something else because you need to dedicate more time. Okay, next question. What's one thing that seems small but made a big difference for you? This one small change leveled me up more than I thought it would. Oh, probably understanding what a CTA is. So like a call to action, I never understood the power of call to actions, and you can use this in your ads, in your video content, even talking to clients. You can use the power of a CTA when you're talking to clients at the end. So a CTA stands for a call to action. And the idea here, without getting super into it, is like the last thing you should say is giving someone an action to do, a call to action. And if you don't do that and don't say that at the last part of your message, people just don't do anything. And that was really interesting for me to understand. It seems small, but it's really not. It's really powerful. So if you're making ads and you're like, hey, I'm an apartment locator, I help people rent apartments, in case you wanted to know, that's not a good ad. Finish it with a call to action. So at the end of that ad, say, click the link and book a call with me so we can help put you into your next apartment within a week. That's a call to action, telling them what to do. And then when you're making content, you're making content, you're like, hey guys, in case you didn't know, I'm an apartment locator. This is what I do. My service is free. You've been seeing property tours on my Instagram page, but I just want to let you know you could go up to my bio, click the link, and schedule a free call with me, and I can make sure that your next apartment rental will offer you a month or 2 months free. So go ahead, go to my bio, click the link, and book a call with me if you want to benefit from this free service. That's the call to action I would use on content stuff, okay? And then even talking to people. When you're on the phone, I don't know, say someone refers you a friend and they call you. Even then, whenever I get calls like that, like referrals, and they bypass my online systems, I tell them on the phone, I'm like, hey, this is how it works. Yeah, I'm an apartment locator. I helped your friend. I'm gonna help you too. My service is free, but do this for me. And I say a call to action even over the phone. And I'm like, I'm gonna text you my survey link. Please click the text, complete it, so that way I have all the information I need from you. Does that work? And they say yes. So I use call to actions even when I talk to people like in real time. So that will be a really powerful thing for you to understand. You have to tell people or your leads what to actually do, or not, they won't do it. So that seems small, but it made a big difference. Okay, number 8, here's the last one. If someone feels stuck or overwhelmed, what would you tell them? If you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, I would tell you that specific moment in time where you feel stuck and you feel overwhelmed is the most important time to take action on whatever your task items are for that day. Because here's the thing, guys, if you are attacking your goals, attacking your to-do list, your task, when you're energetic, you slept good last night, and you're really motivated to do it, those days don't count. They don't count. Because that's easy. If you wake up and you're motivated, you're pumping out some ads, you're doing calls, well, that doesn't count. It only actually counts when you're feeling overwhelmed or stuck. Because 99% of people, when they get overwhelmed, they're not motivated, they feel stuck, they just like enter this little shell, and then it's a shell of like inaction, and they don't do anything because they don't feel good. So I would tell you, if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, understand that is the only time it actually matters to take action. So when you remind yourself that, and I remind myself this all the time, when I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't sleep so good last night, I don't really feel motivated, I kind of just want to sit here, I tell myself, I make an effort to remind myself, this is when it actually matters, when you feel bad. And then I power through it, and I'm like, let me see this goddamn to-do list, and I'm like, okay, this is what I have to do. I'm gonna do it by force, because I know this is when it actually matters, when I'm feeling lazy. And then you attack it anyways. And if you can do that, you're gonna feel much more accomplished in life in general, and you'll feel happier when it's over. Okay, so that's what I would tell you. If you're feeling stuck, you're feeling motivated, number one, get a mentor. That helps a lot. Get a community where you can network with other people. But most importantly, tell yourself and remind yourself, this is the time it actually matters to take action, when I feel stuck. Okay, and if you have a mentor, that's the time you would want to reach out to them so you can feel unstuck. That's what we do for our agents as well. In our Locator Academy, we have an 8-week one-on-one coaching program to where we specifically tell agents that enroll into our Locator Academy. We're like, hey, look, this is what we actually say on calls when people join our Locator Academy. They want to do apartment locating at a 6-figure level. On the first kickoff call that we conduct with people that invest, we tell them, look, you're all excited now because this is call 1 with us out of the 8 weeks. But in the middle of the process, you will feel stuck and overwhelmed. We're going to teach you the most modern digital marketing tactics ever, and some of it will go over your head. So we prepare our new students with that information. And we're like, when you do feel stuck, that's when you have to lean in and come to us, and then let us get you unstuck. So we prepare everyone that enters our academy. We're like, look, you're all excited and happy now. You're gonna fly through the first couple weeks, but then things will get hard. So reach out to us because we have all the answers in the locating niche, okay? We might not have all the answers for every other business, but when it comes to apartment locating, we can make sure our students feel that they can get unstuck by keeping us in the loop. So hopefully that helped, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Let me end this with a call to action, however, since we just spoke about that. If you guys want to get started with us in a more affordable way, what you could do is you could click the link below this video or in the pinned comments or something, and then you can join our school community. What we do in school is we conduct like bi-weekly coaching calls. That's great. We give you free access to our Locator crash course, the digital course that's normally $1,500. We give you that for free. And then we give you scripts, templates, everything you need, and a bunch of support. And you get to book a kickoff call with us as well. We used to save the kickoff call for our high ticket one-on-one coaching, but you get that for free in the school community. And it's only, I think, $67 a month. It's like less than $90 a month. So you could get started like that if you want to make the most out of this industry. See ya on the next one. Bye-bye.